Hi there. Today we want to talk about self-organizing teams. This is a concept that we borrow from Agile and Scrum. And Agile and Scrum are, of course, frameworks to help you manage teams and help you manage your product development. It could be a software product. It could be any product for that matter. Focusing on our theme today, uh, basically, what are self-organizing teams? And what are we solving for? Um, well, anybody managing teams knows that it's very difficult. It's very difficult to keep the team motivated and focused. So self-organizing teams are a way of getting the best out of your teams. Some of the topics we want to cover today are, of course, an explanation of what is self-organizations, some examples, what are the factors necessary for a self-organizing team, and of course, it's the future. It's how people are managing teams today. High-performing organizations are doing it like this. Um, you have to accept this talk with a sense of humor because there are concepts that are going to be different from the traditional ways of managing teams. So obviously, there is some unlearning that has to happen. A bit about myself. I've been working for more than 2 decades and have been involved in a variety of software projects and project management and ERP implementations and some non-software projects as well. I'm certified professional Scrum Master. I'm also a PMP. Have already trained more than 150 people on Agile and Scrum. So this is basically, gives me a perspective and allows me to apply and the various ideas and techniques that that are used. I want to take a moment and think about um, common challenges in managing teams. And we are all familiar with these, demotivated team members, a lack of focus and direction, not my problem attitude, people thinking that I don't need to um, sort of, I just need to worry about my piece of the pie, my work, and I don't need to help my teammates. Um, Low productivity, low quality, high turnover, because obviously if you're not part of a team, everybody is. So it's just a bunch of individuals working together. Then it's not a team, and then people don't help each other, and people don't feel part of a community or a tribe. So it's not fun. It's not fun to come to work. It's not fun to develop the product. What it is and what it is not. So this is obviously not desirable. This is an unconstrained self-organization. This is also pretty busy. A lot of people apparently are living in this area, but you can see that there are lanes and it's organized. So this is constrained self-organization, and this is what we want to get to. Some examples in nature. Birds are very good at self-organization. This tree is not part of a team, but has at least self-organized to survive. Humans are inherently self-organized, but they need to be empowered. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And here is a definition that was um, basically proposed by Philip Anderson, but used by Mike Cohen in one of his trainings. So it's all about empowerment. It's about asking the right questions. It's about not telling people what to do, rather allowing them to arrive at decisions themselves, the team to arrive at decisions themselves, facilitation. Again, these are concepts used by Scrum Masters in a traditional Scrum environment. Teams that are not self-organized, they usually stick to a plan even if the plan is not working. They are specialized, so there could be a DBA who could help with testing, but is not helping because he or she feels that it's not her job. Of course, as some of us know, that Scrum recommends that there are no designations within the team, so everybody does everything to help the team get the product out in a specific time frame. There are a lot of approvals required. There are very specialized roles, and overall, there's a lack of innovation because the team is not interacting. So we know that brainstorming is helps you arrive at very optimal solutions. But brainstorming is a team sport. It's very difficult to do brainstorming alone. You can do it, and it does bear results, but it's not optimal. When a team does it, it's very, very effective. So borrowing some principles from Agile, where self-organization is referred, build projects around motivated individuals, give them support they need, and trust them to get the job done. So the power of self-organization is empowerment, and empowerment leads to motivated employees. This, of course, if you don't agree with this, then I would recommend that you do some small experiments at your workplace and see for yourself. Regular reflection, of course, in Scrum, we do sprints, and Agile, the general word is iteration. So let's say you're inspecting your work every 2 weeks. So you get a chance to reflect on your product and on your process. And as you said, brainstorming is a team sport. So you can arrive at very good architectures if you are leveraging the team for your brainstorming and letting everybody have a say. Factors necessary for self-organization, communication of vision. How does this happen? So you have to take time out to talk to the team, let them know the vision. So there's a requirement for transparency, just like transparency is one of the pillars of Scrum. Out of the 3 pillars, transparency, inspection, and adaptation. So we talked about inspection and adaptation a little bit back when we said that you have to review your work. So you're inspecting it, and then you're adapting your process, adapting your product from your learning. And this can only happen if you have transparency when the vision is shared. The progress is made visual. It's on the wall. Some teams use Scrum boards to show that what is in the to-do stream, what is in the in-progress stream, and what is in the done stream. So you can use this to inspect and adapt. And it's okay to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. In traditional environments, people hide their mistakes, or they try to pin it on somebody else. But in a self-organized team, they own it and they learn from it. The team feels free to do the right thing and in the right way. So the scrum master or whoever is the leader of that team will ask probing questions if you're looking at a design problem and you're trying to solve it, and different team members are giving ideas to solve it. And if the scrum master, who is usually the more experienced person in the team, does not like an idea, he or she will not say that, this won't work. No, they will say that, what do you think if you do it like this? Or what do you think that, if such a scenario is created, will our design survive that scenario? Is it robust enough? Things like that, basically probing questions. You want to move away from, this is not my specialty, I will not be doing it. So if at the end of the sprint and end of the iteration, testers are under pressure, then the developers will actually dive in and help with the testing. Obviously, you don't want the developer who developed that particular component testing their own work. Ideally, you want to let developers test other components developed by different developers, but everybody chips in and helps out. Incremental delivery and continuous learning. As you can see, this child has figured out how to manage his own pram. Shared success. As you can see in this picture, people have self-organized. They have figured out a way to increase the surface area of the truck. They've put baggage around it, and the baggage has created more space. So they get to transport their baggage and they get to transport themselves. For a deeper understanding of Agile and Scrum, there are various trainings available on our website, getprofessional.pk. There's a face-to-face training that can be set up. We could set up remote trainings. So there are various options available for people who want to learn more about this topic. So developer working in a self-organized team will never say this is my task and this is the only thing I'm going to work on. So at the beginning of the sprint, when you're planning, you don't tell people what to do. Instead, you just talk about what needs to get done, and people are looking at stories, and then they select what they want to work on. So it increases commitment and motivation. And a motivated individual can do anything. We know that from our experience. We've experienced that in our lives, in the sports activities that we choose, or the qualification or studies that we want to do, or the vocational stuff we want to do. When you're motivated, you can do a lot of things many, many times faster. So recommended is, of course, do anything that the team needs. Same for testers. Testers can help collaborate with programmers and customers. They can do the job of business analyst at the beginning of the sprint. If they're not into automated testing. If they're into automated testing, then obviously they would be busy with developing automated scripts for the upcoming work. The team is again not focusing on their specialization, rather they're focusing on the sprint goal. So from a leader perspective, or the scrum master, you could be looking at, you can remove impediments, anything that team can't solve themselves, and you're empowering people, you're giving them a chance to use their creativity, and you're encouraging it, you're facilitating it. And we know that that big companies like Facebook and a lot of other companies, they to put something into production, you don't need an approval from very senior people. The team can put things into production. The way they manage it is that they release it to a small audience first to just see if everything is working as expected, and then they push it to wider audience. But approvals, you want to stay away from approval cycles because they're very, very long and they're very they tend to be bureaucratic. So in today's world, with the speed of innovation, the requirement to innovate, the requirement to get your product out there, self-organization is really not optional. You can fulfill your internal business demands, competitive business environment demands. You have engaged employees, happy employees, and employees that own things. So in my experience in a self-organized team, we've had people who've actually was studying for an exam, and we had a go live, and they actually skipped their exam. They flunked the exam because they never showed up. They stayed with the team, and they ensured the go live. So it was bad planning on our part, but when push comes to shove, a self-organized teams puts the team first. Of course, there are challenges. As leaders, we have to let go. We have to let go of our power. We have to share it with the team, and the team shares their success, even the financial success, and the improvements that you see. And I have experienced that myself, is 2 to 3 times if you do it well, and 5 to 6 times, 8 times if you do it very well. So if you have a very, very good agile coach working with you, you could see 800% improvement in your productivity. That seems very, very unrealistic, but it happens. It happens because people come together and help each other instead of focusing on themselves. Taking baby steps, towards implementation, doing small experiments is recommended. If you're looking at a whole organization, you want to move your organization to self-organization and agile and scrum, it's recommended that you take a motivated set of individuals, sort of create a team out of them, and work with a small team initially. And once success is apparent and obvious to everyone, then move other people on so that there is little resistance. And brainstorming will, of course, bring high productivity increases as well. At least in my career, I've seen situations where we solved a problem and took 3 weeks, and then 21 days, and then later we brainstormed together and we came up with a solution that we could implement in 3 days. So the next time that similar problem came around, we had to do all the work all over again because it was a different project. But we did it in 3 days instead of 21 days. That's 7 times faster. So proposed interventions, the team consists of 4 programmers. This is a typical situation where there are testers, there's a database engineer, and the programmers work in isolation until 2 days left in the iteration, then they throw over the code for testers, and testers are always short of time, right? And if they find a bug, then there is a long conversation where you try to figure out whether it's a critical bug or it's just a cosmetic bug. And of a self-organized team would not face this because the testers would probably pair program with developers, and they would know exactly what to test and what the flow is, and they'll probably be testing on a daily basis rather than at the end. If you have an automated testing scenario, then this problem usually does not exist because automated tests are developed every day. In the second scenario, we're looking at um, work getting left out, and the best way to do it is to improve your estimation, and then again estimates are decided in the sprint planning. So I'll stop there, and yeah, I would request you to subscribe to this channel as we hope to post more videos. Thank you for it.